Going?
It's recording now. Okay, so whenever you're ready.
You ready, Clant?
Yes, sir.
All right, in 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right, bitches.
Here we
Let's
go.
do
Let's
this.
bring this shit up here.
Let me know when you guys are ready for the intro.
I'm done. I'm good to go, baby.
Go for it, dude.
All right. Deviants, who welcome to show. I am the Clintoris, and I am here with.
Gooch, the killer clown.
Ooh, and I'm the Diva Slack, and I am drinking myself a delicious Clown Shoes space cake in honor of our clowny space exploration tonight.
Are you drinking anything, Gooch?
I had about 6 Guinnesses, so I'm pretty good.
I have some whiskey, some Crown right now.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
we are the Social Deviants
Yes,
who
we are.
here today to talk about.
Fight Club.
That's the number one rule. You don't talk about it, though.
And that was
That's
the number
right.
one podcast.
Yes.
But actually, we're actually not talking about Fight Club. We will one day,
No,
though.
of course not.
I think we will one day, but we're actually talking about some aliens that come from outer space, and they happen to be clowns, and they like to kill people. And so that means the movie's going to be called, obviously, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Killer Clowns,
That's right.
clowns with a K, by the way.
Yeah.
2 Ks.
Not 3, only 2.
No, definitely not 3, but with 2.
Although, a lack of representation in this movie, I will say.
And not only that, actually, a little bit. There was a racist moment in there too.
There
early on in
was.
the
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
We'll have to, hopefully, you get to that.
No, yeah, exactly. We will. This we'll get to that in a second here. So, but this movie was released on May 27th, 1988. It was made for $1.8 million. I don't have a box office here. I don't know what it made. If you guys are looking up online, maybe you can figure out how much money it made. I'm not in. It looks like it had a theatrical release, so I guess it was in the theaters.
Which is weird to me.
But it looked like It's interesting because it looks like it was released in the theaters on that date, but was not released on VHS until 2001.
Wow.
I don't know. Maybe it was just too bad, or I'm
No,
not exactly sure.
No, that can't be right, because I've seen
That
this
can't be
before.
right,
I've
yeah.
never seen this in the theaters, and I've seen this before 2001.
Yeah, but
Dude,
it might have been aired on TV. But
I rented
online
this
here
thing.
on Wikipedia, it says it was released on VHS by Fox Home Entertainment in 2001.
That's
It doesn't
weird.
say that it was released in
Well-
maybe it's just not listed here.
Or maybe it was that Fox gave it like a wide distribution, and
Yeah, like other distribution companies.
and
like,
maybe some other
released it,
smaller
yeah.
like terrible, like Tromaville, right? Like they
Yeah, 'cause
released all
it
their stuff
says-
on VHS, but I can only assume, because I have definitely seen this before I graduated high school. That's for sure.
Yeah, me too.
But I mean, maybe it was on TV or something like that. But it also says here it was distributed by a company called Transworld Entertainment. So
Yeah, they probably did.
That sounds like
Yeah, who knows?
a B movie
I'm telling you,
publisher
man,
for your ass.
This was like one of the movies, like because we would. I mean, this was back when there was rental like stores that you can rent VHS tapes and stuff.
Rental
So I don't. It's just one of the hardly anything rent. Anyways, so you can rent videos and watch it, right? And there were VHSs, and I remember passing by like the horror section, and you had like Hellraiser, you had others, but then you had the campy ones. This was one of them that was on there all the time.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you pass by and you're like, "What is this? This is ridiculous." You fucking keep going,
So it looks
But-
like this movie was actually filmed in Watsonville, California.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
looking
and at the
this,
Santa
yeah.
Cruz Beach Boardwalk. So, obviously filmed close to where all of us come from. And I don't know. I think that this movie takes place in some city called Crescent Cove. I'm
Just
guessing
some
that
random
means
made up place, like in Power Rangers,
Yeah.
either like in Angel Grove or
Yeah.
Power City or fucking,
I'm guessing that means it would be in California. I don't quite know, but I know that there is a scene where they show it's close to the water.
Yeah.
But it is in like a forested area too. So I mean, that point has all that stuff. So let's talk about this. We were texting about this before we got on started recording, but you guys were talking about the opening song. I think it's called Killer Clowns. It's by a a band that's what is it, the Dixies, I think they're called, and they're like a punk rock band, and they actually came out with an actual EP, I think,
Oh,
called Killer Clowns from Outer Space that had
Oh,
this song on there.
God.
Oh my
I
gosh.
personally thought that the song and really the music in general throughout the course of the film was
Terrible.
abominable, but this is what you expect from a movie like this. You're not
Honestly, I thought it fit because it's like a terrible movie, and the music. It was like when like the clowns are going through the city. It's like clown music and shit. Come on.
Da, 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 da.
I thought it fit the. I mean, it was terrible music. No doubt about it. But it did fit the motif of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
So right in the beginning, we start off and everyone's. I think that they're at this place called Top of the World, which is like a makeout area, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And these two dudes, I guess they're the Terenzi brothers or the Ferenzi.
That's what
The
the
Terenzi
Terenzi.
brothers, yeah.
Terenzi
But
brothers.
Yeah, the
that-
Terenzi brothers show up in an ice cream truck, which is obviously decked out in clown. And it seemed like everyone has their own little piece of the town that they live in, that they show different parts of it, and it was like overwhelmingly clown, influenced, which is obviously
it was weird.
unrealistic,
Big Top
but-
Burger, this clown
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is one of those ones. Go ahead.
I have a note here. Have you guys ever been to like a makeout point or like, top of the world sort of place?
No,
Like I've never
know.
been to a public place where you or like a park or something where you go and the intention is that you park to make out. But like in this movie, and I've seen it in other like 80s movies as well, where it's like the cars, it's like almost going to the drive-in, and you're only going to the drive-in where it's like you've got feet between cars, and the only reason why you're there is to make out with somebody.
I mean, I think that's it feels like a small town phenomena.
Yeah,
And
it's like a
we
huge.
neither
trope in
one
all
of us
these
grew up
movies,
in a
though.
small town, but I
Yeah.
also feel like if you go and look at like maybe the history of the Zodiac killer, the first victims were at a supposed makeout area, and that was in the Bay Area. I think maybe more in
Yeah.
Vallejo or something like that. So
Yeah.
obviously Vallejo is a little bit smaller of a town than where we grew up in San Jose,
Yeah.
which is a bit more metropolitan, if not suburban. But it feels like that is really a phenomenon of a small town, which Crescent Cove seemed to somewhat be.
Fair enough.
But I've never been to one.
No.
So they get there and they are singing this song, which I'm sure that you guys, if you don't remember, you probably, if you don't remember all the words, you remember it. The song itself.
No, I remember. I don't remember
The
words.
quote I have here is, "We'll give you the stick and you give it a lick."
It'll tickle you all the way down, they said.
Oh,
Finish
you
the
talking about
sentence.
the two ice cream bags?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I thought was hilarious.
That's funny.
And this is the type of stuff that you find in movies like this where people are not
yeah.
taking
They
themselves
are the
seriously.
prototypical 80s nerds that are just trying to get laid.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they obviously appear throughout the rest of the film. But that leads us into, meeting the two main characters of the film, which are Mike and Debbie, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Mike
And-
Tobacco.
Yeah.
Mike
that's his-
Tobacco, yeah.
That's his name.
Yeah, that was the guy's name, yeah. Mike Tobacco and Debbie Stone.
Yep.
And it's interesting because did you guys think that I know that this woman has been in some other things? I think she was also in like Weird Science and a couple other things, but
Yeah.
she really did look like a blonde Courtney Cox, which is like weird because we watch Masters of the Universe, an ill-fated Masters of the Universe
yeah,
podcast,
kinda.
but she kind of did look like her back then.
Yeah.
But she was an 80s chick. They all look the same.
Absolutely.
They have the same makeup, they have the same crunchy hair, they have the same terrible like cut off sweater tops. Like when you think 80s woman, that's her. You look her up in the dictionary.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean the attire in this film, obviously the cops were dressed like cops, and the clowns were dressed like clowns, but everyone else
And the ice cream guys are dressed like ice cream guys.
Yeah, because, well, they weren't actually, but I think they were. They weren't, but everyone else was dressed abysmal, like terribly, like 80s terrible, obviously. But like, if you want to go
Prototypical,
into a
baby.
fucking time machine and see what people dress like for real back then
Yeah.
on the streets, that's what they fucking were dressed like.
Yeah.
And so then after you see them, they go and they see like this fucking comet fire. So they think it is a fucking Haley's Comet or at least
Yeah.
the old guy thought
The
it was
old guy
Halley's
thinks
Comet.
it's his comment. Yeah.
And so this fool comes out, and this fool has, has some funny lines. When he first says it, he's talking to his dog, which I think was called Pooh Bear.
Pooh Bear.
He says, They're gonna have all the people are gonna come. They're gonna have hot dogs, helicopters, and planes and tacos. And I'm like, wow, okay, so we can see where his priorities
Apparently,
are.
everything that you would have in a circus.
Yes. And then he goes. He said, I mean, he's talking. He says a bunch.
Have you ever
of,
been to a circus where they had tacos?
Tacos, dude. There's some
I'm sure they
Mexican
do.
circuses, man. I'm telling you,
Okay,
a lot of tacos there.
Okay, well, fair enough. Mexican service, but have you been to like Ringling Brothers or our?
Dude,
what was
I've
the
never
other
been to
one
a circus in my life, dude. I don't know.
You've never been to a circus?
No,
Oh, damn.
I've never even
Okay.
been to a zoo. So
You've never been to a zoo?
yeah, no, never.
Dude, Happy
You
Hollow is
can't
like right down the street from you.
Well, that doesn't count.
That's a
That's a
zoo,
zoo!
though. It's got animals
All
that you can go
All right,
and look at.
fine. I've been to a zoo. I never counted that thing as like the zoo. Come on.
You do live in a zoo. You are a wild
I, do-
animal, so
I am a wild animal. Yeah.
sorry.
Anyways, continue. on.
Sorry.
Sorry
I'm shocked that this fool's never been to a circus
That's
or
a
a
very
zoo.
interesting piece of information, Gooch. A little
So I was
surprising.
taking a little swig and I almost choked there.
One for the zoo.
One for this.
I think I went to like a whatever, like a circus at like a baseball field once. I think Sounds like Giants or something like that. That's the closest I get. I'm not a big fan of clowns or anything like that, so I would not go to a circus again. I don't believe. Obviously, you got
Anyways.
kids, you got to take them, whatever. But this fool says a couple funny lines. So he says, what the blue blazes is the circus doing in these parts, and the way he delivers it is like how you would think someone's going to deliver it, like as like a person that
Yeah.
making fun of someone talking like that, not an actual actor on screen in a movie. And that's what he does.
Oh man, that's funny.
I didn't write down all of his, but he has like some basic ones, and I wanted to ask you guys, since we were just talking about circuses, how do you guys feel about clowns in general? Like for me, they freak me out. But real clowns, like someone who's really dressed up like a real clown is a little freaky to me. Maybe not monster clowns; they don't really freak me out, or even something like Doink the Clown doesn't really freak me out. But I still don't like them. You know what I mean? But I feel like
Right.
disliking clowns is like a fairly common thing.
Yeah, I do
but how
feel
do you
like
guys
a
feel
lot
about
of people have like a weird, unnatural fear of clowns. For me personally,
I don't know
like
why
every
that's
time I look at a clown, like I'm not like, oh, it's a clown, this is awesome. But it's like, to me, like I always see a clown, and I do apologize for our clown watchers and viewers and listeners, but I feel like it's usually a person that's down on their luck and they're just trying to find a buck. And so like they've never freaked me out. Like I can see the person in face paint and they're just like, oh, I'm stupid. It's like fucking what's his name from UHF,
Oh yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so clowns never freak me out.
Yeah, same with me. It's just it's still like a person, that thing, It's and he has floppy feet. So if you really gonna try to attack you, he's in a severe disadvantage. But like remember a few years ago there was that whole scare like in the East Coast where it was like people were just
Yes.
clowns.
Yeah,
looked
and
this up.
people dressed up
Right?
like demonic clowns,
all
like
over the
just
world,
like
though.
standing in front of your Ring doorbell.
Yeah, but it started like really in that area, right? So
Yes, yeah.
I was like, and they were like dressing up. I'm like, dude, why are you afraid? It's just a guy in a costume.
Yeah.
I know. Just sometimes they like run out with an axe or something just to get the scare. Well, someone comes out with a gun.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're in Virginia, just pull out
You're
with
in
your
Virginia,
shotty and just say,
You're
"Hey,
in South Carolina, Virginia. Dude, come on now.
listen, Bozo the clown,
Yeah.
you about ready to become blasted the clown."
I never thought they were scary. I think there's other things that are more induce a bit more fear, but
Like
this one,
Susan
I
Boyle,
can't say.
naked.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there
That
you
was
go.
an odd reference, Devo, but
I
Our fans
I
now
tried
have
to think
that
of something
visual
more
image.
frightening, and that's what popped in my head.
Wow.
so the clowns are there. They're obviously in the big top, I guess you would call it. And this dude is, the old guy is trying to investigate, and there's really no way in. Although he couldn't find a way in, but the young couple, they found a way in later. So I don't understand that. But
Crazy old Kadra, that's why.
it was weird because there's like a hole that opens up in the big top, like some technology, whatever the fuck it was.
Right.
And obviously we see later on they have laser guns and shit. well, cotton candy laser guns, but
That was just-
and but when he takes the dog, he just uses like a man-made dog catcher net.
Yeah, just
I thought
a
that
net.
was odd. And what dog is going to sit there to be caught in a net like that?
Fucking Pooh Bear.
yeah, Pooh Bear,
That was
apparently.
an odd scene. So, anyways, they go back to the city and they're sort of setting up the cops, and they bring Mooney. I think his guy's name Mooney. He brings in Paul Mooney. Not he brings in these two guys.
Mooney.
Yeah, they bring in these two guys, and I don't know if you guys caught this, but the goth dude's hair looks like a clown's hair. The way that they styled it.
Dude, it looks so terrible. I thought the same thing.
And he was the same guy that was wearing the black lipstick, right?
Yeah.
And the powdered face.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And then I thought it was interesting because the older cop Mooney, he's telling those college kids that like they're killing the town. I'm like, so let me get this straight. College kids drinking at night is killing the town?
Dude,
Like,
he's
that
a
doesn't really
crusty
even
old
affect the
codger.
town. Well, granted,
God.
obviously.
He was at a stop sign and some dude was walking by with 2 brown paper bags full of beer. And the fool was like trying to hide one and drink at the same time.
I don't think that's killing the town, but nevertheless, he tops it off by when the younger cop Dave tries to protect them. He insinuated that Dave has a thing for them.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch that?
Yeah.
It could be, yeah. It's probably just one of those like, oh, I'm a man and you like other men, so you're not as manly as I am, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I suppose so. That character seemed like a dick in the beginning, but he actually was fairly entertaining as the movie went along.
Dave or Mooney?
Mooney.
Oh, Mooney, of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
Dave was boring as hell.
Yeah.
Fucking strong white boy. What do you expect?
So when they go back to the couple, and the couple is she's discussing, let's go check out the comet and shit. So they go and they dip out and they head over there, and this is where they have the racist moment when he basically becomes chief running at the mouth.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering what you were saying.
And
You're right. That is.
I don't think you could put that in a movie now.
No,
Oh, no way.
dude. I was even
No
when I was
way.
watching. Like, I didn't write that on the notes. So I was watching. I was like, really? Like, this is
Super racist.
Dude, it was acceptable back then, dude. Come on now. We all grew up in that area. I don't think it's acceptable now.
granted.
So like to set the scene, this dude, fucking white boy, who is trying to get the poon. Now they're trying to hunt this
Super white,
comet.
dude.
He hops on the hood of this car and he's like, "Me, chieftain, think comet land this way. We must travel many, many moon to go find white man." And like at the time, I guess kind of harmless. Which, ironically enough, this is sort of related, but I guess Disney Plus has recently released like some like racist warnings or racist,
I saw
things
that.
with some of their movies, specifically
trigger
Peter Pan.
warnings.
Because in Peter
Yeah.
Pan, they have the whole the Lost Boys and the Indians. He's like, I'm Chief Redface and I just smoke wampum pipe and blah blah blah. So it's like,
Yeah.
but it's basically the same thing.
Yeah. I think right after that they have this conversation, and it's a weird conversation because it actually almost happens twice with both guys, where he is basically saying, "Let's go check it out." Like, so he didn't want to go at first. She convinced him, and now when they get there, she's like, "No, I'm not feeling this at all."
Let's get the fuck
And
out.
he's like, "Let's fucking go." And he gives her this line, and he says, would you rather have me leave you here, or would you rather come with me? Because I'm going. And I was like, fuck, like he put her in a really bad, uncomfortable position. And I was like, wow, like, fuck, like, that seemed like a dick move, obviously.
Hey,
And-
when you're an '80s boy trying to get the poon
Yeah.
and it ain't happening, you gotta do something. And that's all that's the only chip he had. It was like,
Now,
hey,
at
you
that point-
want me to leave you out here? You want to come with me? And like, we'll find out what happens inside the tent.
So at that point, I don't know if this was your guys' first time watching this, but at that
God,
point,
no.
did you guys think that they were going to die?
No.
No, of course
I-
not. It was-
I did. I thought that they were going to die and that they were just like a bit role in the movie. And that this movie would be about something else, like probably
Yeah,
the police
I,
officers.
I think they spent too much time with these two characters, specifically the dude, Mike, I think was his name, because when the Terenzi brothers came in, he's like, oh yeah, they're my
Yeah.
friends from high school, they're my friends from school, like they're the best, and blah blah blah, and it's like when you go into that much detail with a character, like the dude's not gonna die, or at least he's not gonna die right off the bat. Not like the
Right.
the blonde-haired, red-glassed geek who's drinking beer, who's making out in the back of a van. All of a sudden, you see him drinking beer, and then he's dead.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
I go by the like they're like the only ones that had a sustainable amount of lyrics of lines
Mm.
for a while. Like you're absolutely the white guy had no lines. He like give the cop a dirty look, and he said, "Hey guys, stop making a bunch of noise." He's talking about like the Lorenzo brothers when they started trying to sell ice cream. So he had 2 lines compared to like the main actor, the main actress. They had a ton of lines. It's like these guys can't die.
Yeah.
This is the one he's gonna be saving her.
And then even the old
you
dude
watch enough
with-
of these films, it's like the old
Yeah.
dude too.
and even the old dude with a Pooh Bear, like he had lines, but he's talking to a dog. Like,
Yeah,
you know he's
and
not
she's
gonna
talking
last
to it.
long. When you're
No,
when you're
of
only
course not.
when you're only friends an animal,
Yeah.
you're done.
It's always the old guy, that no one believes is gonna be the one that goes first, dude. Or I hate to say this, a black dude, but it's a trope of like 80s
Unless
and
it's Jason
90s.
8. Jason
True,
Takes Manhattan,
true.
which I am going to touch upon later in this movie.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
So can you guys?
I know what you're talking about.
Can either of you guys give me an explanation of what new wave European Cirque Fantastique is?
Oh, it's the discotheque, They hear the click and they're playing the discotheque.
I was wondering, I wondered that to myself. So I'm pretty sure they're talking about Cirque du Soleil, dude.
You think so?
Probably.
Like or like the prior, or like the predecessors to them.
I'm looking up
we
Cirque
don't, I
du
don't.
Soleil right now. I want to like the first year
When-
in operation.
Yeah, when they
was with
start,
these
right?
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
that's a
see
good
here.
good question.
Founded June 16th, 1984.
Oh, so
there
that,
you go.
that probably is what he's talking about. You're
That's
right.
what it probably is.
Could
Exactly.
be, yeah.
Interesting. Although it doesn't seem like it's actually European. It's Canadian.
Yeah.
Oh.
Montreal, Quebec. That's
Yeah,
basically
that'll come
France.
Yeah, that's France.
The guys that founded it are Guy and Gilles.
That's not Canadian. That's French.
Yeah. Interestingly, they own the Blue Man Group. Trippy. Okay. So
Are they the actual Blue Men?
yeah, Blue Man Group, I guess. Yeah,
Oh,
Blue Man.
okay. Anyways,
And so they're inside the big top, and they hear something coming, and of course this is like a
It wasn't
horror
me.
movie, and they go further into the place, and it's like, of course, a real person would just dip the fuck out,
yeah.
Yeah.
But when you're again a white person in an '80s horror film, you go deeper into the abyss.
Indeed, you do, and then you bring more people to come go into
Yeah,
that space
you-
with
Exactly. Yes.
you pull
yes.
everyone down with you.
Yeah. So when they go into that body storage room, and she says it smells like candy, you notice that she covered her nose, and I was like, since when did candy smell bad? I didn't get that part.
Maybe it was like
Dead
even though it's a
bodies and
good
candy?
smell, it's just like too much,
Oh,
Yes.
And it's just like, oh my god, it's like candy. It's so good, but it's way too much.
So obviously they show that they're storing people in cotton candy.
Yes.
There's like a popping corn machine, which I guess is like their procreation
I guess so.
method or something like that.
It's their nuts.
Is that
but
what
they
that
had
was?
a gun that shot? Well, I think they.
Shot-
I think if you watch later in the movie, you see that the popcorn is how they
turn-
make more of them, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's.
I don't
that,
know.
but they turn
Yeah, I
into,
don't know if it's like
a
procreation.
Hydra-
Maybe
a
it is
Hydra
procreation.
clown.
Yeah, but like there's a scene where they one of the clowns blasts some people or like does something to them and turns them into popcorn, and he drops them in his popcorn bag.
True.
So I don't
I
know
mean,
if
there's
he
a lot
like
of
if
inconsistencies, but they did. You
they're
know, when they
fucking
shot
clowns
them
from
with
outer
popcorn,
space. What do you expect?
when they shot them with popcorn, there's a scene where she's taking a shower, which she took for like a fucking hour of the movie. But
No complaints here.
but they,
Well, there are.
you
Some
know, those
complaints.
things became clowns. I mean, we don't
Yeah.
know
Yes,
what was
yeah.
underneath the clothes. That could have just been what they were, just a fucking spine and a head. You know what I mean? With
Right,
arms
right,
and
yeah,
shit in
yeah.
hands. You don't know what the fuck they look like. They never.
But
show
I
their
do think
bodies.
that so they made it clear that capturing somebody in the cotton candy was their food source because the dude that one clown came in with the crazy straw, stuck it in in the cotton candy, and sucked out all the blood. And he's like, "Oh, now I'm full." So capturing somebody in cotton candy was the food source. I feel like, and I think this is kind of what you're getting to, Clinton, is like turning them into popcorn was making more clowns. So the popcorn
Right.
machine was a clown maker.
Yeah, it was like their
Yeah.
procreation
Yes,
method.
there it is.
Did you
All right.
that crazy straw? Is there a name for that shit? Did you
Crazy
guys remember? I remember I had
Crazy
them.
straw. Yeah.
There's just crazy straw.
Just
Okay.
crazy
Yeah,
straw.
crazy
yeah.
straws.
It's got
That
like
shit was dope,
47
by the
loops
way.
in it. Yeah.
That was like entertaining to see that crazy straw. Because there's no reason for him to have a crazy straw except for the fact that he's a fucking clown. Which is funny because she goes, "Why popcorn?" And this fool says, "Because they're clowns." And I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, like why
Yeah.
the fuck else?
Yeah.
Because they're fucking clowns. And then they proceed to make a balloon dog that became a real
dude.
dog and like track them down.
Dude, there's a toy now
So
in
funny.
2020 that is a balloon dog that moves by itself, or I think it's remote controlled or something. But like
Yeah.
that is like I don't know, like you know how like Star Trek was like the predecessor to the cell phone. Like I feel like Killer Clowns from Outer Space was the predecessor to this children's toy.
All I know is that it was super funny when it was trying to. It was like, arr, 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 and like it would like point.
You hear it sniffing.
Yeah,
And
sniffing, yeah. And when he got run over, like it sounded like a pop and an arf at the same time. It was like, arr.
Oh man! So, did you guys think that the way the clown faces look themselves? I don't know about you guys, but it reminded me of like the claymation that's like in Moonwalker. This like sort of grizzled, evil-looking claymation. You know?
They weren't scary at all. They were way over the top, no pun intended. But for me, the best part was at the end of the movie when the Terenzi brothers break into the tent and like they're like, "We are the mighty JoJo, let them go," and like all their faces, like all the clown faces, like the jaws just drop as wide as they go, and they can. The eyes like pop open. They're just like,
Yeah.
and then like when. You know, spoiler alert, Clownzilla or whatever comes down from the top. They do the same thing. It's just like the way the faces looked when that happened was just so funny to me. I was just laughing so hard.
That clown's name is JoJo, so I think it was just a coincidence. I'm
Oh
guessing.
wait, on the truck?
The clown on the truck was named JoJo, and the
Yeah.
clown at the end was called JoJo.
Oh, I didn't know.
So
that.
it was just a coincidence that the name that they had named their clown on their truck was the same name as like their god clown or whatever.
Oh, that
Yes.
makes sense then. Because I saw
Yeah.
in like the IMDb trivia where it was called Clownzilla. You know.
Yeah,
as a
it
code
is
name or
JoJo the
whatever.
Clownzilla. Yeah,
Okay.
and one of the
Well, there you go.
directors actually was in the suit there. Charles Chiodo it's like there's three brothers that directed this film, the
So-
Chiodo brothers,
yeah.
and one of them was played him.
So speaking of the Chiodos, and according to the actor that played Mike Tobacco, there is apparently a sequel in the works.
saw
The
this.
Return
Yeah,
of the
huh.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space in 3D. Now, the caveat is they have a Facebook page, but the last update regarding the status of the movie was that it was scheduled for release in 2016.
Yeah, that's all.
So-
Uh,
Might
well,
not be happening anytime soon,
well,
unless
on
we help
on
bring this
Wikipedia,
fucking
it said
back.
that in 2018, Sci-Fi Channel it was in talks to purchase the rights to the film to make a sequel.
Yeah, and
So,
here we are.
okay.
Here we are 2 years later with no other update. That's not
Yeah.
a good sign.
But I mean, COVID slows shit down, and you know,
Yeah.
so it could,
COVID
it could
didn't happen in
potentially happen.
2018. Didn't happen in 2019.
I mean, it says October 2018, so
Still,
the
that's
end of
still a whole
2018 and-
365 days plus.
yeah, but
then nothing
you know,
happened.
These things take a long time.
Yeah,
I
especially
feel like
with
maybe it's
movies
not a
like
high
this.
priority.
Exactly.
Dude, this movie was made in what 3 weeks? This is not a movie that takes two years of production time.
But maybe there's something going on with the people who own the rights to the IP. You know,
No,
these kind of movies have all like a convoluted bullshit.
And it's in
three brothers made the movie and it was not published by a giant fucking publisher. No. Mm-mm.
Well, Devo has a bleak outlook for a potential sequel.
I'm just saying, it ain't happening, bro.
So the the main clown. Obviously, we find out that JoJo is like the god clown or whatever. But before that, there's like a main clown. I'm guessing that sort of is the first one that they, the one that they encounter. I don't think there's any credits that I'm seeing on the cast for what the name of that clown
Yeah,
is.
no.
But I don't know if you guys noticed this. When they caught him in the front of the car, he like jumped on the front of the car, and I really think that's the only thing that could be frightening for a little kid about these clowns is when they show them up close. You can see their teeth and stuff like that, and they have like a demonic laugh. Their laugh was kind of creepy. So that could be kind of scary for a kid, but he got up like the Undertaker.
Yeah.
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 Which I thought was kind of funny. And I don't know if that predates the Undertaker. That scene.
So this was 88 Undertaker.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
It was the 89 Survivor Series.
Kane.
Dude, he came out. He came out for the $1 million, for $1 million, the $1 Million Man's team against Bret Hart.
He
was
so
secret.
all right. So Calloway signed, and he debuted as Kane the Undertaker at a taping of Superstars in November 19th, 1990.
Wow.
This predates the Undertaker.
Wow. Okay. Hey. I mean, I'm sure that's from fucking Bela Lugosi or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
But
Some fucking
but
Dracula bullshit.
Yeah. So I think at that point they showed that there were 5 of them. I don't know if there were more at that time. Obviously, we find out there's more later, but they've probably been making the fuckers during that time because there's quite a few by the end. And actually, the actors can like barely walk in those outfits, and those
big ass shoes.
I'm not sure how a clown's supposed to walk because I don't really pay close attention to them, but it looked like they were struggling because they had like outfits on that
they're
make 'em
probably
fat
not
and...
trained. They're not like, oh, we know what a clown does. They're like, oh, hey, can you dress up as a clown and just be menacing? Like, yeah, sure, I can do that, but you gotta wear these big ass shoes. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to walk in those. Doesn't matter. You just have to be scary. Okay.
Doesn't matter.
It
They
don't
should have
matter.
got real clowns,
It
man.
don't matter.
You can't afford real clowns when you got only a $1.8 million budget.
That's a lot of fucking money, man. There's a lot of movies been made for like 20, 30
Dude.
grand.
You have to pay to retrofit a McDonald's to become Big Top Burger, and then you got to pay for these cop cars, and then you got to pay for the police station to rent that out. That's $500,000 right there.
Plus, that's 1988 money.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So they go back into they're obviously going to come to the town, and so they go back to Mooney and Dave in the precinct or whatever the fuck it is, and they are talking to Debbie and Mike, and they're telling them the story, which is preposterous, obviously, because the movie is preposterous. And I love it because Mooney at the end of it is like, no, I went there and there was nothing going on there. And he says this line. He's like, who are you going to believe, me or this little tramp? And I was like,
Yeah.
Like, that fool had no idea that this is this fool's ex-lady. That must have pissed the motherfucker off, obviously.
It must have, but you know what? Didn't matter. Mooney didn't give a fuck.
He didn't give a fuck. And
Nope, didn't care.
I think there were only 2 cops. I mean, maybe this was... I mean, he mentioned
that's
that
what it
the
seemed like,
chief was
right?
coming back on the weekend.
Yeah.
He was coming back on Monday.
So
maybe this was a weekend or
three
Friday, I
guys to
think?
run this town?
I don't know. Do you think there was only 3, or you think these were only 2 that were on at night?
I think that's what it
So-
is. It's got to be like the shift.
Yeah.
There'll be 2 cops.
Because even
And a chief?
Dave made some comments throughout the movie where it's like he made it sound like there was a bigger precinct, and then even Mooney was like, like punks like you that go through like this training, like the police training, like try to make fools of me. So it's like they made it sound like there's a bigger world of police in the city. It's just they only showed the 2 with the intention or the implication that there was a third, But I feel like there was a bigger, like, there was a whole process and there was a whole, like...
Well, wasn't he calling the state police? Isn't that what was he calling?
He was,
or like
yeah.
or a county police or something? Like
State.
the sheriff? The state police,
Calling
right?
state police, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a sheriff, right?
The sheriff's county.
County?
Yeah.
Yeah, sheriffs are
Yeah.
county.
I don't know if there's actually a state police, to be honest. I know there's a California Bureau of Investigation, but Highway Patrol,
Patrol
I guess.
is California.
Yeah. It's on California.
There you go.
So there's that dude that gets cotton candied in the gazebo, and I just wanted to say that his fucking hair
Candied.
was fucking terrible.
That's
And the way that he
80s,
was
baby.
trying to laugh was like abysmal.
He did a terrible job, dude.
But
bad.
like he's walking around by
terrible
himself, and then he sees his gazebo, and there's like a puppet show. So he just walks up to it, and like he's like leaning up against the thing. He puts his hands in his pockets. He's like, "Yeah, I'm cool." And then like I'm watching a puppet show.
Oh, puppet show.
And then he's like, and then he dies. It's like,
And the clown's
It's
laugh
80s,
after he
it's
did
so
that
good.
was
True.
particularly unpleasant for me to watch.
yeah,
So the cop, and obviously that was her ex, and it was awkward between the two guys throughout the course of the film. And this fool's in the car with the new guy talking about his feelings, like, "Oh, I still have feelings for you." I'm like, that's awkward,
dude.
And
There's
this
a
fool-
scene at
Go
the
ahead.
end. So like not to like skip too far in the
No, go ahead.
but there's a scene at the end where like it's the end of the movie and it's spoiler alert, the clowns blow up and whatever, and we'll get to it with the cop and all that stuff. But there's a scene where it's Mike, Deb, and the cop Dave, and they're all hanging out. And the ex-boyfriend has his arms around the chick and he's kissing her on the head, like they're having this like sweet like we survived
Yeah.
moment together, while like the boyfriend's standing right there. It's like, to me, that was just like super awkward. It's like, okay, we established that this chick is with this dude. She's no longer interested in the cop, but at the end of the movie, the cop is like, "I love you. We're together now. Like I've got my arm. You're safe now." On her head. Like there's just something about that was just like, I don't know if it was like intentional in the script or if it was just the actor that was like, "Hey, this is my ex. I'm feeling for her. I'm gonna make this move." But it was just like, okay, that's fucked up. If you're this dude and like you've got to deal, it's bad enough you got to deal with your ex's man, but when your ex's man is a cop, like that's like double fucked up.
but dude, I know what you're talking about. That scene. The problem is that right after he like hugs the girlfriend and like kisses the top of her head, dude, the way that Mike and Dave embrace. I mean, I know they just survived like a crash from the space aliens and shit, right? But the way they embrace, I think it was a bit more than what they did with the girl.
Oh,
You got to look at it. I mean,
okay.
it was like, I was like, well, hold
so
on
maybe,
a second.
So maybe Mike doesn't care,
Yeah.
and now he found himself a new love.
Dude, they were about to, go a little bit farther than
Yeah.
just, the rivals.
Let's
I would
talk
say.
more about this. Yeah.
Exactly.
So you guys, Gooch, you think they wanted to finger trap her?
Well, I don't know about that. but
I
let's
think
just say they were
I
a
think
bit
what
too happy
what,
with
what
both
Gooch
each
is saying
other.
is that Mike wanted to finger trap Dave all by himself.
And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. We're not saying there's anything wrong with
Perfectly
it.
normal, perfectly healthy. But in the
But,
80s, it wasn't.
Yeah, I would not watch this film. If
Look
you
what
could get
happened to the
triggered
one
very
guy that was
easily.
wearing makeup and lipstick. He got put in jail.
Exactly.
So I think obviously it's a weird love triangle that doesn't
Yes.
actually really get resolved
No.
at the end of the film.
No,
And
No.
I think
I think nothing gets resolved.
no, and I think it's
Clowns
it's
die.
weird.
That's all we know.
It's weird because they he obviously likes the chick like you discussed, Dave, but the other guy, and he has this line that he says, he's like, "I guess she wanted funny over stability,"
Yeah.
So and I mean that's she's young.
That's a
you know what
low
I mean?
blow. That's a low blow.
So there's something there that the film doesn't completely go into, and maybe there's some deleted scenes or something like that a little bit more explanation. But I think and that maybe maybe Mike and her had some type of falling out or something like that. So maybe they would be, but we didn't get to see that. But one of the interesting parts of it is right when they're driving there after Mike first tells Dave, he gives her this same line, the same strange fucking like ultimatum where she's put in a position that she really doesn't have a choice at all, where he says, either you go home or I'll lock you up for safekeeping.
Yeah, that's
If he had,
that was
let's
cringy.
put it this way, if he actually had done that, she would have died
She'd be
because the
DED
clown would
dead.
have fucking killed her.
Yeah.
But obviously, he's giving her this option, and she doesn't have a choice in the matter, And it's the second time that these guys have done that to her. So I found that, I mean, this is the 80s, so it's a different time, but it just seemed odd and out of place,
Yeah.
So I got to ask you guys a question. Who the fuck would open a door if they saw a huge evil clown standing at the fucking on the other side of it?
When you are,
I mean, they didn't even number one, they didn't even look some of those fucking people.
so
Yeah.
when
But
you
Number
when
two,
you
even if
open
you
the
did
door.
see it,
but when
What the
you
fuck?
are so here's the thing is in an 80s movie you have to set up a scene where you have some lady who is either A, naked, depending on what rating you're going for, or partially naked, and you have to show some sexuality in this movie. That's what you're referring to is the pizza girl who ordered pizzas apparently, and she answers the door in her nightie, which you could see through, so you could see her breasts, and she's drinking a glass of Chardonnay. So that was the sexuality of this film, and obviously you have to have her open the door and not question anything, only to have her die. But apparently everybody else, they like maybe this was a thing in the 80s where like somebody would knock and just be like, oh, somebody's knocking the door. I'm going to go ahead and open it. And then it's a killer clown and you're like, okay, what's happening? And then it's like, and you're like, John, did you get me a clown gram at 11 p.m. at night? You know, like, yeah, again, back to the 80s. It's like maybe
Yeah.
things were a little bit different back then. You know, I don't know. I was shitting in diapers probably when this movie came out. No, actually, I would have been 9. Never mind.
Oh, dude, we don't know, man. you may have been shitting in diapers at 9.
so you have that scene, and then they go back. You know, obviously they take Deb to her house, and you know there's obviously this tension between the two guys. And I thought it was funny because when Mike gets back in the car, he tries to go into the front seat, and obviously Dave makes him go to the back seat. But this fool drives off before Mike's really even in the car and has closed the door and shit. He didn't give a fuck.
Was he cuffed at the time?
No, he wasn't.
No,
cuffed.
he had already.
He'd already undone it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
They came
And
back
then-
from the thing.
He says so. Then there's this convenience store, which is a weird scene because they're just going through the convenience store for a long time, like 20 to 30 minutes of film time. And this dude is terrified behind the counter. And
His facial picture.
why did that guy just not dip out?
Dude,
Why
it's just
did he
fun.
stay there so long?
It was like his like. And the way it was, it was so funny.
That was hilarious, fool.
So exaggerated.
Mooney, dude, this fool
Mooney
is in the, he's in the precinct. This fool's looking at a magazine. It's a gun magazine. This fool's laughing like there's something funny about
It had to
guns
be
in this
Soldiers
fucking
of
magazine.
Fortune. It had to be that magazine. I was thinking about it too. That full turned the page and it showed like a.
Laughing about. And this fool and Gooch, this fool he had a big faux pas in this fucking movie. This fool drank whiskey out of a fucking styrofoam cup. You're at the precinct. You can't get a glass? What the fuck is that? Come on, man.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
And then
Yeah.
this fool tops
That
it
was
off
funny.
by just saying the hell with them all and just refuses to answer the fucking calls eventually. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
great police work. Just everyone in the town's dying and you just fuck them. I'm not going to answer the phone call. You guys are pulling a prank on me. It was fucking unbelievable, this fucking guy. So let's talk about the fucking scene with the bikers.
Oh, this shit right here.
And so this fool comes, the kid, I guess it's a kid, comes out. And he has his little bike, and the other bikers are making fun of him. And this one fucking guy, this fucking dumbass, comes out, and he's like, "What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?" Once the clown gets his boxing gloves on, and this fool literally knocked his head off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
so
was
so
hilarious.
here are my notes. So, and I think Gooch, you were alluding this earlier. This
Yeah.
this is reminiscent of a scene in Friday the 13th Part 8. Jason
Yeah.
Takes Manhattan,
Yes.
where a brother is going toe to toe with Jason, hitting the body, hitting the jabs, blah blah blah, and it gets to the point where he's like, you know what, take your best shot. Jason gives him that uppercut, boom, that fool's head flies off into the dumpster. So I looked it up. Knock My Block Off from Killer Klowns is filmed, probably written in '88.
Yeah,
Friday the
I was
13th,
good to see.
'89.
Yep.
So it
Oh,
could
they
be
ripped them
possible. It
off.
could be possible that Jason's fantastic killing blow was inspired by Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? Right after he did that, all those bikers were like, "We're getting the fuck out of here."
Yeah,
Everyone was
It
like,
is
"Fuck, I'm
time
gone."
to go.
I was like, that's realistic. I would have been like, but the funny thing is, the thing that made me laugh the most is when he knocked his head off, the brother was just like, damn.
Yeah.
He didn't even, everyone was just like, damn. And then if you look closely, if you go back and watch it, the way this fool's body falls after his head gets knocked off is greatness. It's like he falls forward on his knees and his body just falls back. Like, fucking great, dude. Loved it. I fucking loved it. So after that, there's a scene where one of the clowns is in, like, I guess they're eating at like a fucking, maybe it's the Big Top Burger. I don't even fucking know. And there's a clown outside in the fucking, you know, the playground.
Mm-hmm.
Man, number one, that girl was too old for peekaboo and all this bullshit like that.
Yeah.
And obviously she ultimately didn't get killed because the overprotective sister, got her. But number one, no one saw the clown for some fucking reason, which is like reminding me of fucking Ghostbusters when like fucking
poor Louis Tully.
Lewis is there and he's fucking screaming his head off and no one even fucking notices until this fool smashes
Somebody
his shit.
let me in.
Yeah. And then everyone continues going on. But that shit was fucking creepy. That scene was a little creepy to me.
Yeah, and like being a father too, it's like, oh gosh, you know, like I hope I'm never in a situation where my kids are going to be seduced by some creep outside the restaurant or outside something where I'm not paying attention, and they're like, oh, I have to go explore this. But like, I like to think that I've taught my children well enough to where that's not going to happen. But like, this is not the first time it's happened in a movie, and I don't know. There's just something about it. It's just like so. It's I can't even think of the word right now, but it's as a parent, like that's the last thing you want to see is your kid just walking out to some stranger, some creep, knowing that like something terrible is going to happen.
Yeah, man, that's why you got to keep your eye on them at all times. Fucking crazy.
Even the movie knew, because I think it would probably have gone a little bit too far if
I think you're right.
The clowns would have got the little girl.
I think you're right. So I think there's a scene where the dude from Big Top Burger right after that is, he's throwing stuff in the dumpster, and this fool hears something coming from the dumpster, and yet instead of fucking dipping out and going to get someone and ask them to go help you look inside, this motherfucker raises the shit back up and like looks like he's gonna climb into the shit, which is ridiculous. Who the fuck would do that? Nobody. Obviously, it's a fucking terrible horror movie.
You gotta think. I'm like, even if it's like rats, are you really gonna jump in there and look? Because that's the only thing you could imagine he thought. I'm like, are there rats in there?
Yeah.
I don't know why you would want to look.
Yeah. What are you gonna do if there is something in there? I don't know. It makes no damn sense.
Because it was like scratching and like little little animal noises. I'm like, the only thing I could imagine could have been a rat. And really, what are you gonna do?
So stupid. There's an exchange with Dave and Mooney where Dave finally sees people get killed by fucking the clown with the shadow monster, right? And they are talking, and Mooney goes into this fucking soliloquy where he's like, "You're not gonna pull one over on Mooney, so fuck you over." And I was just like, it's fucking hilarious the way he did it, and he I don't know. He was talking like an old-timey guy, like he was in Casablanca or some shit like that. I don't know.
Crazy old codger, man.
Yeah, well, granted, obviously.
Old school cop.
So let's talk about the Terenzi brothers. These motherfuckers are... before we get into them, actually, there's a scene after that when... we'll talk about that later.
I want to say this about the Terenzi brothers. Whenever I hear the name Terenzi brothers, it reminds me of Ghostbusters 2.
Oh yeah,
when they're in the trial and like the ghosts come out of the trap, and the judge is like, "It's the Torelli brothers. I tried them for murder. Gave them the chair." Like whenever I hear Terenzi, that's all I heard was Torelli brothers. And like, but you look at the ghosts, like they kind of look a little bit like the Terenzi brothers from this movie.
So let me get this straight. These two fools are out on a Friday nighttime, trying to sell ice cream. Why? Like, obviously the answer is they're trying to get some Poontang.
Right.
Like, bro.
Yeah.
But they made it clear. Like one guy was like, "Hey, Lookout Mountain would be a great choice." Yeah, right. And then as they're driving away, they're like, "Oh, let's try the drive-in." And then one dude's like, no, that's a terrible idea. But wait a second, because like they're thinking about trying to sell ice cream to where there's going to be the most amount of people at that time. during that day. And for this case, I guess your target demographic is going to be at Lookout Mountain or Makeout Mountain or whatever the fuck it's called. And then your second best place is going to be the drive-in. Like, imagine somebody's trying to like watch a movie and you're driving up with like like trying to sell ice cream. It's just I think it just shows the mindset of these two dudes. And then
Oh, that they're
when
just
when
fools.
all of a sudden they're like,
Yeah.
the whatever sisters were trying to get them ice cream so we can get laid is just like, and they come out and you're like, okay, these guys, they have one focus in this movie, which means that they're supposed to be the ones that die first.
But they didn't die. They lived through the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
And there was that scene where they were so fucking pussy hungry that they fell into like the play balls, the Chuck E. Cheese shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And those two clowns were there, those female clowns, and they're like had growing tits.
Yeah,
And
that's what clowns do. That's
after
why you gotta
that
go to the
scene,
circus,
They
bro.
showed them they were kissed all over.
Yeah.
So those clowns didn't actually kill them,
Yeah.
which was weird.
Yeah, these wanted the human.
Okay, so am I the only one here that would have done the same thing?
What thing, Devo? You're going to a place I'm getting a little
So
scared
you're in a ball pit, and these two clowns and their boobs just get massively huge, and you're just gonna be like, "Oh, I'm good. I gotta go." No, you're gonna get to town, bro.
No, you're not, because every clown
yeah.
you've seen to this point is putting people in fucking cotton
Yeah.
candy cocoons. I'm dipping the fuck out.
But
No, and
have the
honest-
Terenzi brothers seen that yet? In this
Yeah,
movie,
Yeah,
no,
they did. They saw it in the street.
Yeah, exactly. They were
Did
the
they?
ones they saw like them like dragging the.
They were like, "Oh, this is bullshit, bro."
But there's-
and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden they pull around some corner and then like they're fucking going through the streets
Hey.
like fucking
Yeah.
Nazis
And
and
they-
shit.
a wise
Remember,
man.
They saw that guy that was. They came out of the from underneath the car, and like in mid jump, they got him in the little cocoon.
Yeah,
So
So,
it was right in front of him.
it was
I'll
like
say
a Macy's
this.
Day parade of cotton candy
Yeah,
cocoons. and shit.
exactly.
I'm gonna say this: the pen, or in this case, the penis, is mightier than the sword.
A penis spider.
So Mooney is just chilling in the fucking precinct, smoking a stove, and motherfuckers are dying all over the city. And the fucking clown comes into the room, and this fool is like, obviously, they think it's a person, and he's like, "Well, whoop-de goddamn DD, what do we have?" here?"
That shit was hilarious.
That whole fucking scene is unbelievable, man, unbelievable. And obviously in that scene you can tell that they have maybe they didn't when they first came to the planet, but they understand English. Maybe they can't
Yeah.
speak it, but they
Yeah.
understand it.
Well, one clown.
But later
speaks it
on,
for
you
sure.
do see that he mimics
Yeah,
Mike's voice. So I think that was maybe using tech. I'm not exactly sure.
I don't know.
he had his hand right up his back or something. So it was
Well,
like
I-
it was
no,
like
no,
in
no,
a, it was like
There
an
was a scene where
ID4,
she was
right?
in her house. Remember? Like
Yeah,
later on,
yeah,
she was
she-
in her house and she opened up the
Yeah.
door. She thought it was Mike, but
Yeah.
it wasn't Mike.
Yes.
It was like one of the clowns.
Hey, it's Mike. Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
but like maybe it was like that thing from like Independence Day, right? When the alien had like its
Yeah.
tentacle wrapped around Data's throat. And
Oh
it's like
yeah.
blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Could have been
That's
the
true.
same thing.
They did communicate through data in that movie. So he used Mooney like a marionette, and he gives this line, "Don't worry, all we want to do is kill you." Like, okay,
Yeah.
I guess I won't worry then.
Movie over.
And then there's a scene.
So
There's a
good.
scene right after that that's fucking atrocious, where Dave is shooting the fucking clown, and they show a close up of the bullets going through his outfit, and then it goes back to a wider shot of him coming towards Dave slowly with no fucking bullet holes. Then they go back to him shooting him again. Then they go back to the shot with him with no fucking bullet holes, and it's just like, could you guys do a little bit better than that? I guess not.
No.
You guys got $1 million. You guys spent $1.8 million on this.
Again, you got to pay the McDonald's to get the fucking
right.
burger, or the
I
big
guess
top burger.
So. So why did you guys think they put Debbie in a ball other than in the cocoon? Obviously, we know why, because you
Plot
can't kill
hole.
her because she needs to live and
Yeah.
bullshit like that.
Yeah.
But they didn't really give a reason why they were doing that.
I was gonna say
why
it
she
was.
was
It had
special.
something to do with like the females, but then they already went through like multiple women that they just fucking put in
Yeah.
cocoons. So like,
I mean, there was other balloons there too, so I'm assuming there was just people in those things too.
yeah, like
Yeah, I guess so.
at
And
I think they just undiscriminately put people in balloons or cotton candies, and then obviously for the sake of the story, you got to have the heroine be in a balloon, and
Yeah.
like as far as we know, she's the only person that was put in a balloon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I mean, there was other balloons next to her, but we don't know if they're actually having.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So they have this line where I think Mike is talking to Dave and the Terenzi brothers, and he's like, if you were a clown, where would you hide? And they go, the amusement park. And the fucking Terenzi brothers are like, great, all right.
Yeah.
I'm like, great, all right. Motherfuckers are dying.
Because
Nothing's great.
Shit, dude.
they
it's
assumed they were
total
gonna get like
Scooby-Doo
free
right there,
rides or
Paul.
something.
The shit was
Oh
total
my
Scooby-Doo
God.
type fucking shit right there.
And then
Oh,
when
Scoob!
Scoob.
and then when they get there, they're walking around inside the fucking big top, like, hey, what's going on here? Everything's fine. This and I'm
No,
like, motherfucker,
no,
you
but-
could die at any moment.
Wait, before we go into that, like, so the there's a scene before that the clowns get there first to the to the amusement park where their ship is, and
Yeah.
there's a guard there.
Oh, that
Yeah.
scene is so great.
The clown car shows up, and obviously they're clowns, so they all come out of this little car.
Yeah.
And there's like 5 or 6 of them, and they're huge, and they all have cream pies in their hands, and the old codger's like, "What are you boys gonna do with those?" And they just start screaming them with
They
these,
just
with these pies.
pie after pie after
And-
pie.
And
then
then
you hear the
yeah, it starts
So they
sizzling.
melted them?
They melted
Yeah.
them,
acid
and then-
pies, bro.
and then the scene that where Clint was bringing up, where the Terenzi brothers, now you got me, so the Terenzi brothers came up with all the dudes, and what did again, comic relief. Both the brothers, they stick their fingers in this huge goo that they're like, oh, it looks like melted ice cream, and then they pointed the other guys. They pointed like, yeah, that's not ice cream. And it shows like the guy's leg pointing coming out of it, and like
Yeah.
a baton.
His bones. But why
His
didn't
bones.
it burn them?
And I don't know, but the thing is though that one of the brothers actually had put it already in his mouth.
Yeah.
I was like,
But-
what the fuck?
But even at the end of the movie, when all the heroes are standing there, like, is it over? They all get pies in the face, but none of them
Yeah.
melt. So
It
like
doesn't make
maybe
any
they were
fucking
just like
sense.
special pies or something. I don't know.
I don't
made no
know,
damn
dude.
sense.
I thought it was hella funny.
So there's another problem with the movie too. Well, I would say it's a problem, but another thing that made no sense to me is so they come with the car, like you said, Gooch, the fucking clown car. It was a car with an engine, and they fucking stopped it, and they all got out.
Yeah.
Why did they need a car with an engine when earlier there was a fucking scene where the fucking clown was on an invisible bike?
Because they're clowns. Quote Mike.
Okay.
Why? I don't know, Clint, dude. They're clown cars. They have to have
I
a
don't know,
clown
man.
car.
So obviously they shoot him in the nose to kill him. I think
Yes.
that Dave proved that.
Yep.
Mhm.
And I think that I think they ended up doing that with Jojo the Clown too, right? They shot him
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
the
clown's
Because he
clown.
Shot him
pulls
in the
off his
nose.
badge and stabs him
And
in the
he's like
nose
kinda
with his
boop.
badge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they go into the fucking into the big top finally, right? Like we talked about, and they go in this room, and they see the whole town is basically dead cotton candy. They're harvesting them, right?
Yeah.
This dumb motherfucker, this fool, says, "Incredible." I was like, Dave. He said, "Incredible." I was like, let me get this straight. You're the fucking cop that's charged with protecting the town, and everyone is fucking dead in cotton candy, and your fucking first word is incredible? Fuck you, man. That's some bullshit.
No, and the worst part,
Preposterous.
it's funny because at the end when they saved Debbie out of the little balloon, right? And Dave was like, "Wait, there's more. What does the other guy do?" They obviously have enough time to save more of these people, right?
Yeah.
And Mike was like, "Fuck it, get out of here." And he just goes, "All right, let's leave." I'm like, at least shoot another one of the balloons and see what's in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez.
But no.
I mean, everyone just died. I'm guessing because they blew up the damn fucking
They blew
ship.
up the ship. Well, they're gone. They're gonzo.
Yeah.
Well, I guess except for the
Anybody
Terenzis,
in that
of
ship
course.
is done, dude.
The
Yeah,
Terenzi's
they-
head in the fucking freezer, so they didn't die, of course.
Yeah, they didn't invite you.
And so here's the thing, like the Terenzis end up they get tossed in their truck, the truck explodes, but from the second they get tossed to the moment the truck blows up, they find a way to get into the freezer of the truck. And then Dave sacrifices himself, and from the moment that he sacrifices himself to where the big top blows up is minutes maybe, but somehow both parties find their way to this clown car, which could be anywhere in the big top, because they've shown that it's a maze inside that thing. And then Mike delivers some of the greatest lines in this movie, where he's like, "It's a door, it's another door, It's
Oh,
another door.
Yeah.
Another door. Another door.
So
Like,
terrible. What do you mean? It's so terrible.
and so like it's clearly a clown made maze, right? But somehow the heroes find their way to the one single clown car and survive.
Hey, that's the beauty of horror movies, man.
That's right.
We were talking earlier about the scene where the Terenzi brothers come in and they were like Jojo the clown, and they fucking kind of scare him into like paralysis so they can kind of get out of a situation that seemed like they were pretty much done. Before Jojo, right before the real Jojo comes down.
You will let
That
them
scene
live.
fucking reminded me a hell of a lot of Secret Life of Pets with the laser pointer and shit. If you guys have seen that movie, there's like a scene where all these fucking cats are in this like old lady's house.
Yeah.
And the dog has to like the Pomeranian has to go in and pretend she's a cat to get like something from the room or whatever. And the only way she's able to get the cats off of her is by having the magic laser button. Cats go crazy for lasers. And they and all of a sudden, right before they're about to get her, they're like, oh, she has the laser. And it just reminded me of that scene, which was funny. That scene was, Deus Ex Machina, right? You have to have those scenes in a movie, otherwise people are just dead,
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know if there were enough women in this movie to do a FMK, so we could skip that. Unless you guys have some.
I mean, we've
got
Deb, and we've got
Deb.
Pizza Girl in the 90 when she answers the door,
okay.
and then maybe one of the big booby clowns.
Oh God. Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
All right. So I'll go first. I'll go first, so I could set the tone. Gonna marry Pizza Girl in the 90, and because she answers the door in her 90 and drinks Chardonnay. Gonna F one of the clown girls, and then I'll kill Deb.
Wow.
Done.
Whoa.
Wow.
You did set the tone.
I'll marry the Pizza Girl. I'd have relations with with Deb. Dude, how can
Positive
you do it
relations
with that clown girl, dude?
It's just
Hey,
a gentleman.
How is the answer?
My problem.
She
is
went
that
from an
looked,
A to a triple J.
Wait. My problem is that she looked too much like the female gremlin from Gremlins 2.
Who's hot, by the way.
And
He just said it.
Yeah,
So, Devo, you would fuck that female gremlin?
Why not? Is the question. Why not?
This is a dark episode, man.
it
We went to some
turned.
dark places.
But here's a problem. I have asked why not for the no. Here's the problem. I've asked why not for the clown and why not for the gremlin. Nobody's giving me an answer, which means there are thoughts and positivities in your guys' heads.
No, there's no answer because we didn't even think about
you would
fucking
as
them
well.
at all.
No, because you've already thought about it. And the answer is yes.
Oh,
The answer was never no. Because if it was no, you'd be like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
This
But there's hesitation.
Reflects perfectly what this movie is. It don't make no fucking sense.
Exactly. I'll marry Deb, F the pizza chick, and then kill, obviously the clown. Let's do Kim Coppola.
Okay, so all right, I want to start with this one. Because I think I'm going to take the cake, no pun intended. So I have here, my note is the Kim Coppola Award goes to, awarded at 15 minutes and 22 seconds into the movie, the entire cast.
Oh wow!
There was not one single person in this movie that had any redeeming acting value. All garbage, all trash, all worthy of the Kim Coppola Award. You can go back to any other Kim Coppola Award winner we've had in the past, and they're like Oscar winners compared to these people.
Oh, come on.
Hey, I thought Mooney was entertaining.
Exactly.
Deputy Curtis Mooney was entertaining.
Yeah, he was good. Oh, come on. I was gonna give it to the dude that was watching the puppet show, because I mean
he was terrible. He was bad.
So bad. At least these people kind of tried. He looked like he wanted to fail at this movie.
He didn't even have a line.
Yeah, he didn't have a line.
He was really bad. And there was a lot of bad acting in this movie.
Yeah.
And that was particularly abominable.
It was atrocious.
What was the guy's name? Did you have IMDb up?
I don't think he even has a name.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
they don't have a lot of people.
Gazebo dude.
I'm gonna look it up.
Gazebo Kid from Killer Klowns.
I'm gonna look it up and get back to you. But yeah, I don't think he had. Oh, Mila Jovovich. What's up, girl?
I'm telling you, I don't remember. But that's my choice. So
What do you guys? Okay, before we wrap up, if you guys have anything else to say, let's do scores. Unless you
all
guys have
right.
something else to say.
No, I think it's all right.
We said enough already.
Yeah, I'll give my score. I think it was. I honestly, the problem is I like these movies. I can honestly, it's not one of the best crappy movies I've seen, but I was entertained and I could see myself watching it again. Like, hey, you want to watch Killer Clowns? Like, oh, okay, type thing. So I'll give it a 6.
Whoa.
Wow. All right, impressive.
Wow.
Like I was gonna give it a 5, like right down the middle because
Wow.
but again, like it's like Lucho said, it's one of those movies where when it's on, there's something about it that like you just want to watch again. It's hilarious. It's outlandish. It might not have been intended to be like this sort of funny sci-fi horror movie, but it ended up being this cult classic, and that's how it's remembered. But at the same time, that's also how it's embraced.
Yeah.
The acting's terrible, the premise is god awful, but again, it's an '80s sci-fi horror movie. There are even before we started recording, there are a lot of movies out there that have done a lot worse. There's obviously a lot of movies that have done a lot better. So for me, like this is like when I think an '80s horror B movie, like the quintessential sort of thing, like Killer Clowns is the top of that list. So for that, it gets that perfect 5.
Do either of you remember what my score was for fucking what was the Freddie Prinze movie?
Wing Commander?
That was
Wing
what is.
Commander.
Let me look it up real quick here because we
Yeah,
Oh,
might have it
please.
here.
My problem with Wing Commander is it takes itself too seriously, and they just fail utterly. And I'm telling you, that matte painting in Killer Queen, and when they first walk into like the nuclear reactor of the,
Oh.
Yeah,
it's a matte painting,
which
they're
is what they
walking
do in
into
every
a
single
painting.
like positive
Yeah,
like
but
sci-fi
this was
movie.
a poorly made one. It was so terrible. I'm like, dude, they're like walking into some watercolored paper. It was so bad. I mean, but it was funny bad.
Yeah, no, and honestly, like that matte painting for a '80s terrible movie, like it wasn't terrible. Wasn't great. It wasn't great.
And for Wing Commander, even for what 99 graphics, 2000 graphics, those special effects were terrible. I mean, utterly terrible.
All right, I think I might have the score here. Hold on.
All
All right, here we go.
Okay.
The official welcome to show review scores for Wing Commander. The Gooch gave it a 3. No, I'm sorry, a 2. Devo gave it a 3. The Clitoris gave it a 1.
Wow, damn.
Overall, I had a 2.
Okay.
I don't think this movie was a 1 at all.
I'm gonna
'Cause
give
I'd
it-
Kill the Clowns?
I would rather watch this again 3 times over than watching Wing
I
Commander.
have officially watched this 4,000 more times than I have Wing Commander.
All right, Clint, do it.
The reason why I asked that is because I feel like Wing Commander is a worse movie than this, and which
Which
I
is
obviously
accurate.
you guys agree with.
Which is
but
accurate.
I think it is really fucking bad.
You can give it whatever score. Just don't give
Whatever
it a
you
1,
want,
because at least
dude. Whatever you
It's
want.
better than Wing Commander.
No judgment here.
You get a 1.5 if you want.
I think I'm gonna give it.
1.1.
I was thinking about a 2, but I think I'm gonna give it a 1.5.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
really bad. I enjoyed how I think only parts of it I enjoyed were the stuff that they did wrong unintentionally, not the stuff they did wrong intentionally.
Okay.
And so to me, it's just a bad movie. And it's one of these things where we watch like some of these other bad movies, but there's a lot of good, funny lines in them. And really, there's not a lot in this. It's like Mooney is the fucking
Dude,
guy.
It's
is
all
the only
bad,
motherfucker.
man, but
you know?
that's the beauty of it.
Fair enough, yeah.
The
So-
writing style. No, I agree with you. It's fair, dude.
So I think the only good redeeming quality is like the cleverness of how they incorporated all of these like clown tropes into how they kill people, like cotton candy cocoons and popcorn and shit like that. And
the
how
shadow puppets.
yeah, shit like that. So
Yeah.
and the fucking the balloon
They do
dog and
fucking
shit.
they do fucking George Washington crossing the fucking Delaware.
Crossing the Delaware, yeah.
Yeah. So
And the music changed too.
And,
I'm
and,
gonna go-
and
actually, I'm
one
gonna
thing
go
I
with the
never
2.
noticed in that scene is like in the background, like one of the guys is like, "Oh, George Washington, I love that guy."
Yeah.
so I'm gonna give it a 2. I'll give it a 2.
All right.
It's
That's
not
fine.
like
Perfect. Fair
irredeemable,
enough.
but for me, it's garbage. But not not as bad as Wing Commander. Wing Commander is really just a shit.
It's really
movie.
bad. It's
Yeah.
very bad.
Yeah.
And it's poorly acted. It's
Yeah.
the thing is, this movie's
Dude.
poorly acted, but you're
Dude.
not expecting these people to act poorly.
Yeah.
Wing Commander, they acted
got-
poorly and they thought they were acting good.
And you've
Except
got
for you,
top-notch
Gooch. Except for you,
actors
Devo,
in
you
that
think
movie
that
too.
fucking Lillard is a fucking genius.
I love it. I love it.
All right.
So that was Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Leaning into the whole Halloween theme. And we had Striking Vipers last week. So Gooch, next week is going to be your movie, dog.
Yeah, I have 2
You got
that
something
I'm
lined up?
debating. I have 2 that I'm debating on. One is like Bronx versus Zombies or something. It's on Netflix, right? One of my friends told me to watch. It's really bad. It has Redmen in it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I know what you're talking
yeah.
about, Gooch.
So it's either that one or Terrorvision. But I want to go for a campy movie that's a new one.
Okay.
So we can kind of compare the camp. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
So
okay.
I think I'm gonna go with. I think it's Bronx versus Zombies or Bronx versus Vampires, something like that. It's
Okay.
on Netflix. We'll take a look.
All right.
But I'll that's what we're gonna we do next week.
All right. We'll confirm it and then I'll send it all out.
Let me I can look this up real quick here, and see so that people actually know what it's called.
So yeah,
It's called Vampires versus the Bronx,
There you go. There
Boom.
you go. So
and it's released in 2020. So
Yes.
it just came out on Netflix.
All
so
right.
like I said, new camp versus old camp. So
Okay.
we're gonna
I like it.
talk
I
about
like it. I like it.
I like it, Gooch. Let's do it.
All right.
So we'll see you guys next week.
For that fucking bullshit.
We'll see you guys later.
See you later.
I'll see you later.